Very welcome here to TUtheSky at TU Wien, our distinguished guests, faculty members, graduates, family, friends, and partners. We are very happy to celebrate today the ETIA graduation, and I'm also delighted that Ambassador Brix is together with our Dean Wolfgang Güttl and the academic directors here around during the graduation. I would like to present you a brief glance at this institution, but don't be scared. We won't go that deep into history. Nevertheless, it has been a history of over 2 centuries, starting 1815 at Karlsplatz in the so-called Polytechnisches Institute, which would probably translate to Imperial and Royal Polytechnical Institute. 1872, the name was changed to Technische Hochschule, you would say College of Technology, and already in 1902 the first doctorates were awarded in the area of science and technology. The current name, TU Wien, was awarded in the last century, 1975, which is already also 50 years ago. And in the meanwhile, this university has, as also the other Austrian universities, received or reached full autonomy. That's after the let's say around 2002, and at that moment, at that very moment, the continuing education, where also this program is part of, was built under a roof. Until then, programs were kind of satellites next to the institutes and the faculties, and this is for sure a more profound and professional solution. And indeed, a number of programs in the area of MBA and MSc has been set up. Some of them are jointly offered, like this one, with the in partnership with the Diplomatic Academy, which is, by the way, a bit older, but whether it's 200 or 250 years, it doesn't bother so much. Nonetheless, we believe that these kind of partnerships are on a mutual basis are very important, and in this regard, with ETIA, Environmental Technology and International Affairs, the name is reflecting this very much. Now, one of the prerequisites for a successful study direction is, of course, the composition of the cohorts. We are not speaking here about mass studies that hundreds of students are combating in lecture halls. No, not at all. It's a system of cohorts where during 4 semesters students are following the several courses together, and that's, from our point of view, very important also for future networking activities. On top of this, both institutions with a long and standing tradition and reputation, along with top-class lecturers where the topics are linked to real-life relevance. And that leads us to a situation of interdisciplinarity, which delivers a much wider scope. Some statistics, again, a very female-dominated cohort, especially in the area of technology. Very often, some study programs are rather male-dominated. That's not the case here, and these colleagues are probably also, let's say, potential candidates for Nobel Prizes in the future. At least in this study program, they finish with best possible degrees with distinction. The average age is below 30, and that is, so to say, something which may also change in the future. We don't know yet, but for now it's a very, let's say, consistent cohort, and you will probably you have started already, or most of you, to work into practice. Another 4 decades of work is working time is awaiting you. We have also noticed that there's an interesting mix in this cohort. That is, there's some dominance naturally from Austria, but there are also participants from Germany, even from Kenya, and one from Romania. 2 graduates have, which is quite remarkable, also undertaken research abroad in Kosovo and Italy as part of their master thesis work, where they were also partly funded by the travel allowance. 2 theses were written on the topic of waste management in cooperation with a company named Alchimia Nova, where the CEO is an ETIA alumna. So the network is a very strong one here in this study program. Many of those who are graduating today or are about to graduate, it won't take that long until autumn, have worked or interned at prestigious organizations during their studies, for example, the World Energy Council or at the Munich Security Conference. Overall, there has been quite a debate in Austria on further study tracks after graduation, and I'm happy to say, and that's not very new, it was already 2 or 3 years ago the case, is that as a matter of principle, access to doctorate studies is feasible, but of course this is depending on your previous bachelor's degree. We are still monitoring how many graduates of this program are indeed succeeding with doctorate studies. At least at TU Wien, any application will be examined in detail, and I think if you're interested to conclude with doctoral studies, the most important part is to have, let's say, a topic which is relevant and up to date, and someone from the academic staff who is able and willing to supervise you. But that's so to say. Today we are celebrating ETIA, and a degree is indeed a precious thing. You have to work hard for it. That's no question, and that's also a good reason to celebrate. So to each and every one of you, I say congratulations. All the best. Thank you. And I would like to hand over to Ambassador Brix.
Well, dear soon-to-be graduates, I have you in my mind when I say a few words. Dear graduates, dear soon-to-be graduates, members of faculty, ladies and gentlemen, dear Bob Martens, if I may say so, Vice Dean, Academic Continuing Education, dear directors, also the 2 academic directors here, and dear friends, family who join us here. It is very strange. I have every year 3 degree ceremonies to do as director of the Diplomatic Academy. There is one only that we do for 1 year for a diploma program at our place in Favoritenstraße. There is a big one we do with the University of Vienna, which just, this case, it was in this morning. And then I come to this family. And I always feel that's the best part of the year. Being here to say a few words to the graduates of the ETIA program. Environmental technologies. You have chosen simply the best track. You have chosen what's really significant. You have chosen something which even the European Union understands now. We still remember there was a lot of rhetoric about Green Deal, lot of money promised for that. And then something came. People talked suddenly not so much about the climate or the environment, they talked about competitiveness and the internal market. And what happened then there? They tried to find a combination of both. And what did they come up? With what you were studying. Environmental technologies. Everybody now in the European Union and outside of it is talking about renewable energies, how to use environmental technologies in all fields, actually. There are long lists. You can even find it on Wikipedia, what people think environmental technologies means and what it can do. And it's rightfully so. And you have shown in these 2 years that you have all looked for your own path in this issue that we have here. So, having chosen the issue of environmental technology, the rest of the world should say thank you to you. It's only me now and my team who can do it here. But really, thank you. Stick to it. Continue to work along this line. And then the second part of this program is called International Studies. As director of this institution, which was founded 271 years ago, I don't have to explain what this means. It means that this is a place, and especially our academy, where we believe that without some knowledge of international relations and what it means also as far as your personalities are concerned, what it means for the idea of emotional intelligence, it's not worth doing it. It's not all about knowledge. That doesn't mean that we're not looking for academic excellence. You had to do your hard work in the first year also for excellence in the international relations. But it's much more than that. Because, sorry to say so, Bob Martens, you can go to any university here in Austria if you want to gain knowledge. But we feel it's a bit more that we have to do. And that's why we exist. And that's why we're looking for partners to be able to realize this program. So thank you to the Technical University really here. So 15 people in this class have chosen the right subject. They have chosen environmental technologies and international affairs. I congratulate us, and I congratulate you also to this achievement, I have to say. I don't have to say much about you as a group. That has already been done, how diverse you are. But some things you did together concerning, well, making sometimes academic work together, but sometimes outside of academic work. I do understand there are activities the director shouldn't know of that you also attended. They're doing it simply. Yeah. That's good. But one of the activities you did, I think, was special because it was very Austrian. It helped you to understand Austria. You went to Zwentendorf. They went to Zwentendorf. Now everybody here in this room knows what Zwentendorf stands for. It stands for that the Austrian taxpayer is spending money on something nobody is going to use. Whatever your position is to civilian use of nuclear power, it was money spent without being used. Maybe we should have taken the decision earlier or not at all before we decided to build this. But this is milk spilled, and the guy who was responsible for that at the time, Bruno Kreisky, did also something good. He reopened the diplomatic academy. So at least there was something good in that. And it was very good that you went there, because these are the things that you have to look for in environmental technology. Are we making the right decisions when we spend money on something? building dams, building bridges, regulating rivers, or even the form of energy we are going to use. What about nuclear energy? Mr. Trump thinks it's good to bomb. And maybe he was right. But it doesn't mean that we really can make now already decisions on what is the best form of the use of technology to save this planet. But some things we know. The more renewable it is, the better. So I don't have to tell you, you are the guys and girls, who should actually be active in this field to make it possible that we are not using up all the fossil for many good reasons to do this. So thank you for taking this quite difficult form of education that we had to offer you together with the Technical University. And I do know that you also enjoyed parts of the 2 years. You have been active in our societies, you have been active in our student magazine, you have been active in our Tipsy Weasel, you have been active in our Christmas extravaganza, charity ball, all of that. And that's very good because I think one of the most important things of the Diplomatic Academy is this creation of a community. And the community of you 15, but furthermore actually the community of those who feel that it does make sense in international relations, not only to palaver, not only to be rhetorically good in talking about what international relations is, but doing something. I used to have a good friend, our former Deputy Prime Minister Erhard Busek, who always said, we don't need think tanks, we need do tanks. And that's what you should actually be part of, and I'm sure you will. Because I know from previous graduates that you work really in those areas in the future where you have a focus on energy and environmental related positions, companies, but not only companies, sometimes international organizations, and it's good that you do this. But I have to say, sorry to the families, I'm now saying something where they won't really earn much money. I have to say, some of you should actually go into the Austrian Foreign Ministry if possible. The Austrian Foreign Ministry needs these sort of people. And actually I know from the people responsible there that they are looking out. They ask us always for the best ETIA graduates. We cannot convince all of them because a civil servant doesn't earn as much as you when you go into one of these companies that you are familiar with. But if you feel that it's worth for the community here in Austria or in whatever country you are, then you should consider. Then you should consider also doing this. But this is actually a day, and I am reminded I'm talking too long already. This is actually a day where you should celebrate. You are the class of 2025. Always remember it's about our planet and a sustainable future. Carry on as enthusiastically as you started your studies here. And this academic year, we started with our anniversary in the city of Vienna Festive Hall. And there, on purpose, we invited as our guest speaker Volker Türk, the High Commissioner of the United Nations for Human Rights. Human rights. Now you have, the next cohorts will have also an academic director who is our chair for international law. And you may have heard the last few days how different interpretations can be of international law in many cases. So this is something, my last words to you here really, stay as inquisitive, critical as you have been during these 2 years. Keep up being, I always say this, being as subversive as possible. It's not because you should be pessimistic or negative, but it's because you should always think twice about what's happening, whether it's right or not for the society, or for your family, or for yourself. And that's something that I hope we could a little bit install in you, this idea of inquisitiveness and sort of creative impulses. You will stay part of the DA community, as you will stay part here of the community at the Technical University. So please join also our club DA if you don't have joined them yet. I hope you had rewarding and enjoyable academic years. We are proud of you. We are proud of you, this group of 15 talented and passionate young people. Enjoy this ceremony and leave here as alumni. I wish you, the class of 25, all the best for your future. Thank you.
Members of the TU orchestra, for those who are taking notes, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Köchelverzeichnis 156, presto. Okay. We are continuing now with the academic directors, Professor Puxbaum and Professor Hestermeyer, with short notes. I guess you will do it in common, right? Yeah. Please give a warm applause to them.
Yeah, dear Ambassador Brix and dear Director of the TU Academy Güttel and dear Dean Martens, esteemed audience and colleagues and students. It has now been 18 years since our master's program in environmental technology and international affairs has been established. Since then, we have graduated about 300 alumni. And from all the colleagues from whom we have records via internet, we know that we have information about their careers, and they are mainly in exciting positions. And you can find, Bob also mentioned about these graduates in the fields of national, international officials in consulting. We have alumni in academia. Some ladies are professors at universities. One of our alumni is in Oslo University. And also very exciting, some graduates are working as diplomats already in embassies. I remember from an early course, a lady was in, I think, in Montevideo or so. And now we have a lady at the Austrian, Austrian office in Brussels. So with a sense of melancholy, also pride, I'm honored to guide the last cohort in my career towards the graduation, and I'm pleased that my longtime colleague and friend Hans Fellner is now continuing our course as representative academic director of the TU. Thank you very much for this, Hans Fellner. I want also extend my sincere thanks to Ambassador Brix. We had 18 years together, and no, not nearly 18 years, nearly 18 years. Yeah, there was Hans Winkler, also very important director of the academy. And Wolfgang Güttl and the incredible staff we have at DA. I want to mention Catherine Purucker, Isabel Starlinger, and Anja Stöttenbauer. Isabel is with me all these 18 years, more or less. Additionally, I want to take the opportunity to express my gratitude to my alma mater for the countless beautiful, exciting hours I spent there. I realized today that I have now spent 60 years at TU Wien, having enrolled as freshman 1965 in technical chemistry and concluding this 60 years as academic director of the 17th cohort. It was a pleasure to be that long at one place. I know for academics it's also a bit suspicious to be only on one university. Yeah, and today our graduates are in the focus, and I want to especially thank you for continuous work on improving our environment. I continue what Ambassador Brix said on this, and with your master thesis and your extracurricular studies or activities, you are environmental ambassadors of our two academies. I want to extend my greetings and thanks to the parents and friends who have supported your efforts. And now, my dear graduate students, you have been an exceptionally attentive and outstanding group. And it has been a pleasure to be with you these 2 years and now guiding to the final step of your studies, to the culminating point of the studies, to the graduation. And with this, I thank you for choosing our unique master's program and wish you the best. Good luck for your career.
Allow me to break the normal orders of thank you and start off thanking Hans for his tremendous work for the program. He's established the program. He's been with the program for 18 years. Without him, it wouldn't have worked. And I do have to say, experiencing the work that goes on inside and the difficulty of truly interdisciplinary work in two institutions, that was tough. So thank you so much for doing this. Thank you and welcome to Emil, of course, to Dean Güttl, to Vice Dean Martens, Martina. Thank you to all of the team, but most of all, congratulations to you, ETIA class of 2025. Congratulations also to family and friends, because I know that isn't easy for family and friends either. Congratulations. My plan was to do some light-hearted remarks, as you deserve in theory. You're a graduating class, but I'm a lawyer. I'm German. None of that really goes to light-heartedness. Plus, I watch the news, and it's really difficult to be light-hearted when the Secretary General of NATO trashes the basic principle of international law, when people are dying on a daily basis in Ukraine, when people are dying in Gaza, when people are dying in Sudan, when people are dying in Israel, when people are dying in Iran. So I'm sorry I won't give you lightheartedness, because I presume none of you feels tremendously lighthearted either. I'm going to give you a mission instead. You chose a task for yourself, and you chose that task wisely. Because if an alien species would look at us, the moment after they get rid of their astonishment about how idiotic we act and killing each other, they'd say the main threat facing this species is that their habitat is fundamentally endangered. If they continue as before, they're not going to last. Period. It's really hard to find people with the knowledge needed to tackle this issue. And I hope sincerely that this program has enabled you to tackle those issues, and it's certainly better than any other program anywhere in the world I know in that regard. Now, I say that partly to praise ourselves, but I also say it because it is astonishing that these programs aren't everywhere, and instead, and for good reason, I don't want to denigrate that, instead we have to invest 5% of our GDP in buying weapons. From a perspective of an alien again, that's idiotic. Even though, of course, in the reality of where we live, that makes perfect sense as well. Now, after all of that despair, can you really change and achieve anything given the enormity of the problems we face? So let's just look at one story. 80 years ago to this day, the Charter of the United Nations was signed. And that charter originally didn't have a reference to human rights, because they just didn't put it in there. And it was one woman that made sure that that reference was in there, Virginia Gildersleeve. To be honest, my frank suspicion, she was only a member of the US delegation because she was the only woman. But she was a member of the delegation, and she decided to use that voice. And without her voice, there wouldn't have been the preamble that actually changed a lot of things on the ground, and there wouldn't have been references to education and human rights, because she was the only one to insist upon that. So individuals can make a difference in this world, and you have the tools to make a difference. So rather than saying everything is lighthearted and great, because it isn't, and let's not pretend it is, you have the tools to make things better. And I'm very happy to say, I'm confident you will do that. Now having said that, besides all of the catastrophic, this is again one of the warmest months in history, and it's all very depressing, but it's also gorgeous weather outside, and you deserve at least one day off. Congratulations, go celebrate today. Work's going to be back next week.
Maria Apollona, the role of artificial intelligence and emerging technologies in enhancing safety in nuclear power plants. Pass with distinction. Lukas Baccarini Peter. Erik Eschrich. Wendt Lukas, Graf von Reichenbach, Freiherr von Thüngen. Marietta Krismer, Driving Towards Sustainability, a comparative life cycle assessment of electric and diesel buses, pass with distinction. Hannah Lorenz, the agricultural nitrogen surplus in the Danube River Basin, development from 1980 to 2021 and future prospects, pass with distinction. Julio Misico. Andrea Mito, When the Wells Run Dry, Understanding Drought-Driven Migration in the Middle East through a Socio-Environmental Lens, pass with distinction. Emilia Pils, Circularity Scenarios for Food Residues in Lower Austria, pass with distinction. Letizia Scala, Material Flow Analysis of Innovative Utilization Pathways of Bread Waste in Austria, Comparing Economic, Ecological, and Social Criteria, pass with distinction. Helene Stanger. The role of battery energy storage in large-scale solar integration. A business case and policy analysis for Kosovo. Pass with distinction. Olga Yurkevich. Food waste from farm to fork. A material flow analysis of Austria's food supply chain. Pass with distinction.
I think the aliens from Holger Hestermeyer would have loved this song from Carlos Gardel, especially if they would take a look at the translation por una cabeza. We're coming now to the Valedictorian, which is will be delivered by the group speakers, that is Marietta, Krismer, and Olga, Yurkevich. So please, if you come to the floor and give them a warm applause.
Dear graduates, dear family and friends.
Dear professors, dear ETIA team.
My name is Marietta.
My name is Olga.
We are honored to speak on the behalf of the class of 2025. Can you believe it's been 2 years? It feels surreal to stand here celebrating the end of this chapter in our studies. Just 2 years ago, receiving our master's degree felt so far away. But now we've arrived at this important milestone, the graduation. And you can all be incredibly proud of how far you have come. These past 2 years have been filled with hard work, long nights, moments of doubt, moments of triumph. Together, we navigated challenges, challenging courses, tight deadlines, and especially countless flip chart presentations. We learned not only from our professors, but also from each other through debates, discussions, and shared experiences that shaped us into who we are today. By the second year, it became clear that we are a truly unique cohort. Our curiosity and passion made it for learning not only inspired our professors, but also occasionally made it a challenge for them to stick to the syllabus. Thankfully, our diplomatic training helped us to find the perfect compromise, saving our many questions till after the class. Even though the first year we all followed our individual interests, we still managed to build something very important, a community. We supported each other, cheered each other on, and created memories that will last far beyond this day. From spontaneous coffee breaks at Karl Ludwig and Knockbox to late-night study sessions at the DA, from laughter over lunch and at the famous tipsies, to the quiet comfort of knowing we weren't alone. These moments have defined our journey.
These shared experiences remind us that today is not just about a degree and a title. It's about the resilience, curiosity, and kindness that brought us here. And while this chapter closes, we truly believe that our story together is far from over. The friendships we formed, the lessons we've learned, they will continue to guide us as we move forward to new adventures. And of course, none of this would have been possible without the incredible support system beyond the university. Our families and friends. Thank you for standing by us, for encouraging us and believing in us every step of the way. We are also deeply grateful to the academic staff and the administration of the Diplomatic Academy and the Technical University for their unwavering guidance throughout these 2 years. Now, we must finally ask ourselves, what's next? Our master theses reflect the wide range of passions and paths within our cohort, from energy and food systems to migration, water management, and mobility. These diverse topics hint at the different directions we're all headed. But as the environmental world is small and deeply interconnected, we hope our paths will cross again, maybe even as future collaborators. So, as we celebrate today, let's look ahead with confidence and excitement. May we always remember how far we've come, and may we never stop supporting and celebrating one another's successes. Congratulations, class of 2025. The future is ours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marietta and Olga. We are not at the very end, but very soon of this graduation. You've been here now for roughly an hour, maybe a bit more in this space, which is rather extroverted. Actually, the building here was originally built for chemistry in the 60s by Erich Boltenstern, and this space was not used. There were installations in here, and this space was literally discovered when the building was completely renovated. I think it gives a very nice overview on the city on the left-hand side from me, seen here the first district, on the other side the fourth, the fifth, and the 10th district. It's whatever weather conditions are, it is always interesting here, and I think you will be able to be here for a bit more time with your family, friends, and partners. Now, class 2025, especially in spring, you have been very much engaged in your master thesis work, a hard work, and it's not for nothing because it will be made publicly available unless there is a delay. I think it was in the case of maybe of Marietta, I'm not sure. Someone was at the Wiener Linie and got some data that is delayed, but the other thesis work will be made available in approximately 4 weeks from now, and that means that anybody can take a look at your work, and we know from statistics that there are pieces of work that are downloaded a couple of 100 times every year. I would like to thank our long-standing partner, the Diplomatic Academy, Ambassador Brix, Deputy Director Schubert. It's not a difficult work, actually. I think also Rimna Bukina is still here, who took over the hard work of the admissions office. There's always a lot to do in this area. On our side, next to our dean and our head of programs, there's also our senior program manager, Isabel Stahlinger, Anja Stöttenbauer, program manager, and Lisa Hörstelhofer. This is a fantastic team. They all do it together. So we hope that you will stay in touch with both institutions. Very soon there will be a summer celebration, probably this evening. Tomorrow. Okay, so no way to leave Vienna too early. And this celebration will end with first the Austrian hymn and then the European one. After that, we take a group picture with the alumni, and feel free to make compositions with your family and friends. These images will be made available in the next coming days to you. It's very nice to see then after a couple of years how things were so progressing and changing in the course of time. Thank you also to the TU Orchestra for having this nice live classical music. So may I ask you to stand up, and you may sing as loud as you can. So your guests are in pole position for the drinks and the snacks, so that our photographer can take the group picture without being climbed on the back from your parents and partners. Thank you. Please come in.